about this place?
You've heard the news, you've received the emails, you've watched the other YouTube videos.
Constructing a massive new community in the Phoenix metro area. And this place looks so appealing that it even has me considering whether to put my house on the market.
And today was the day, so I packed up my gear, I headed out to the grand opening of Blossom Rock. I joined 2,500 other people as they toured the most anticipated community opening we've had since I've been in real estate. The homes were beautiful, the community looked amazing, and people were flocking to be on camera. There are a ton of parks.
A community lake, including a pool and a clubhouse that's supposed to go right about here.
And to top it off, Blossom Rock is being developed by the same developer as Arizona's #1 selling master plan community, none other than Eastmark. And Blossom Rock, it's looking to steal the crown.
And yet, even with all the excitement over this place, some locals in the East Valley aren't convinced that this place is gonna be the bee's knees. Their primary concern, the location.
So what is it about the location that makes locals cringe? And will this make you ultimately regret purchasing here? We're gonna unpack all that and I'll share my big discovery I'm telling all my clients before they move to Blossom Rock. But before we dive in, what is it about this community that's got everybody so hyped up? The bigger project anyways, is called Superstition Vistas.
This massive plot of land is known as Superstition Vistas. Their population will go from about 38,000 to nearly 70,000.
Blossom Rock is the third development that's been here, but it's by far the most exciting due to all the amenities it's going to have, the future plans with another phase in the works, and the scope of builders with different options and price points offering everything from starter homes up to luxury price points. So now that you know a little bit about the community, why is it that some locals living in the East Valley are hesitant to make the move? To answer that, let's take a look at one of my favorite characters from the 90s, Austin Powers.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Now in Austin Powers, Fred Savage plays a mole named Number 3.
So you're the...
And he also happens to have a mole, and it's pretty large. Now this isn't something that you'd bring up at the dinner table, but for some reason, Austin is always taken aback by it.
Nice to mole you. Meet you. Nice to meet you, mole. Don't say mole. Stop. I said mole.
Well, that's great, Ryan, but why are you telling us about this weird movie from the 90s? Now, this is a similar reaction locals have to Apache Junction. Some people notice the imperfections and don't say much, and others, like Austin, ridicule it.
Jimmy Earl had the funniest one. He said I looked like Stephen Baldwin if he was from Apache Junction.
But with a beautiful community coming to this town, what's not to love? Well, if you look on Google Maps and you visit what's called downtown, there are a few reviews that I like to say sum it up. The plaza is a whole eyesore, rundown. But this one is just from 1 year ago. Finally, downtown AJ is having an urban renewal. Downtown is getting a few new restaurants and the old rundown mall is being rehabbed. And new businesses are moving in. Growth is a wonderful thing. Right now, it looks more like a group of pop-up shops than a typical downtown setting that you're probably used to. And there's even an antique store that takes up most of the real estate. However, I went inside that thing and it's pretty cool. I would check it out if you're moving here. But lucky for you, some new businesses have made their way into downtown Apache Junction. And there's an ice cream spot. Here we got deli sandwiches as well as U-Haul rentals. An Italian restaurant with some really great reviews, and not to forget about the dispensary that's been converted from a drive-through bank. There's also Food Truck Fridays here for the locals.
Gonna have a ball this how to do that watermelon crawl.
But there's something else that the locals are well aware of and newcomers may be put off by. Now when you drive around this town, you notice a lot of walls with these sharp metal things keeping you from going in. And these giant banner flags and these gated communities that you can't even get into. So what's behind these walls? Well, Apache Junction is a town known for changing the diapers of its elderly more than changing the diapers of babies. So behind these walls sit manufactured homes and RV parks, and there's a lot of them in Apache Junction, so many that it dwarfs the amount of single-family homes located here by a 2-to-1 ratio. And that's not even including all the portable RVs and all the fifth wheels that are driving around. It makes living here ultra affordable. And while that sounds good in theory, it doesn't always lead to the best outcomes for the town. Most of the single family homes that you'll find in Apache Junction are less than adequate. Smells like weed.
So now, why does Apache Junction seem like there's not a lot going on for it compared to other towns like Queen Creek that's spending $200 million on this new park and aquatic center? Well, to answer that, we need to take a closer look at what this town brings in revenue.
With many residents on fixed incomes or even retired, Apache Junction has a median household income of just $44,000. And because the residents really aren't spending much in the town, it brings in only $13 million per year in revenue.
Now compare this to the town of Queen Creek here, which has a median household income of $110,000. And the town of Queen Creek itself, it brings in $150 million per year. So with Blossom Rock not really giving you a stellar deal on prices, and an abysmal downtown with a lack of modern amenities and a bunch of seniors in Apache Junction, how can somebody be swayed to start a new life here?
First, let's take a look at where the community of Blossom Rock sits in relation to Apache Junction. I told you earlier that Superstition Vistas is huge, 275 square miles of undeveloped land. Now you'd think they'd start building as close to downtown as possible.
And they have. This brand new community by Century Homes has been in the works for a year, and they have many residents that have already moved in here. You can actually get a home for about $375,000 out the door, as opposed to Blossom Rock's starting price of $479,000. But it's a bit different than where Blossom Rock sits, and that's what's so important. While Century Homes sits in the north, Blossom Rock sits further south. It's actually 3.5 to 4 miles further south than any property in Apache Junction.
So why does a 3.5 to 4 mile distance make such a difference? Well, the location has more of an East Mesa feel to it, and East Mesa has way more development that is on par with what new families are looking for.
So instead of hanging out with the 55 plus crowd that you're probably gonna see in Apache Junction, you get to actually commingle with people that are more like your peers at places like Point 22 Tavern, right outside East Market Cadence. Or you can play ball at the Arizona Athletic Grounds.
Or even going to Queen Creek's newest development I was talking about earlier, Frontier Park.
Blossom Rock's location is going to have more of an East Mesa feel to it.
Apache Junction definitely isn't winning any awards for the most modern city in Arizona. Most single-family homes here wouldn't appeal to my clients, but there is one really nice feature that attracts a lot of people willing to spend more than $1 million on a home, and it's what Blossom Rock and the entire town of AJ is really banking on, and it's what I'm telling my clients.
With four different lakes to boat on, an entire national forest to hike or bike, and $1 million views, this is what makes Apache Junction such a rare find, and it's why snowbirds love it. You have access to Arizona's playground at your fingertips in as little as a 20-minute drive from Blossom Rock. And the icing on the cake is that the community itself has more of an East Mesa feel. Now it's getting warm out right now, and one of the best things to do is to paddleboard the Salt River, and it's practically free. If you're visiting the area or you just moved here and you're looking for something to do that doesn't cost a lot, check out this video right here where I share my top 10 free to no cost events in the East Valley.
Hey, Migs, let me out of the